Sent by BloodThunder.
I'm BloodThunder, or you can simply call me BT. We're going to be taking you through a nice spook-free version of Amnesia Dark Descent. We're playing this at, 4 a.m. East Coast time. It's a little spooky, it's a little dark, but I think we'll make it through this. So let's hop into this. We got a couple things to explain. You'll notice right off the bat, when we get into it, it's going to look a little different than what you might remember. It's going to look a little like a PlayStation 1 game, and we'll talk about why that is. But let's go ahead and start a new game. We play on normal because hard mode was introduced pretty recently, and it's not really any different. So start game, and time will start once we get past the cinematic. So, right now. All right, we are off. This is a lovely corridor that is super pixelated. A lot of PC games will end up needing high FPS, so runners will drop their textures and stuff so they can boost up the amount that they're processing and using a graphics card. We don't actually need that in this game, but having everything be super pixelated makes it really easy to do certain setups that we'll get to. But right now we need to play some basketball. Kobe. Nice. So what's going on in the story, because we'll be in bounds for a little bit, spoiler alert, is we just took an amnesia potion. Our name is Daniel, and we have done some very bad stuff. So we took the amnesia potion to hopefully forget it and then lead us through this giant castle. So we're gonna wake up on the floor. So it's a lovely day. Water's coming through the roof, no big deal. And this first area, the rainy hall, gonna be really fighting the game. It's gonna try to move our camera around. It's gonna try to slow us down, just to try to introduce the atmosphere and that Daniel can get scared and that this game is scary. But, yeah, I'll see. Oh, spooky doors. Went ahead and opened this door earlier, save a little bit of time. It's pretty cool. And for the first couple areas, we're going to be actually slowed down to a walking speed. I think it's like 2.5 units of speed. We'll get that back up soon. So it looks a little slow, possibly, but don't worry. We'll get there. This is a really spooky corner. Hold on. Gotta get around. Oh, there we go. So we're fighting the game on this one. We go through. Daniel really likes the floor. Okay. We're making it. So you're going to see me jump on slope surfaces a lot in this game. You can get boost off of the geometry. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes it just doesn't happen at all. Another spooky door. An old archives, the area we're in, is where you normally would get the lantern, which is right there. We're going to walk in so we get our walking speed back. So there's a trigger that runs across that room that's going to do that, and now we're just going to break the game. So I'm going to jump up here, and look at that. We're already outside the map. Easy as that. Just going to hop our way across, and we're through into the void. So yeah, that's slope. It boosts you back there sometimes. Going to do that again. Luckily, quitting out is very easy. Very easy to reload back into the map. And you'll notice the category is any % quit outs allowed. Usually, the way speedruns for this game are handled is you just got through it without saving, without quitting, and like a mistake, you just reset over. But recently, let's try to get out again. There was a trick that was discovered, and we found a really easy way to make it consistent called load warping that involves going out of the map. Hey, cool. That's this game for you. There's also a lot of strats that you could go for that manipulate really good boost over voids. But the way this game's going already, we're probably not going to go for those. It's a marathon. No tech issues so far, but the speed strat issues are real. Try this a third time. Third try is the charm. All right, Daniel, I need you to jump. Just jump. Hey, there we go. Look at that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, entrance hall is the first big hub of the game. Do not blink or you will miss it. I'm not joking. So this is load warping, and there's entrance hall. It's a pretty crazy strat, and I will try to explain it, but unlike my boy Tomato Angus, who had props to demonstrate it, I don't, so it's going to be a little hard. Basically, every map has a spawn point for your character known as Player Start 1. And so anytime you load into a map, you go to Player Start 1. From there, the game will put you where you're actually supposed to be based on your save and your progression. And sometimes that Player Start 1 is right near the door that you need to go through, even if you're not supposed to have access to it yet. So for a single frame, when you load in the Player Start 1, just going to bypass that monster real quick, you can actually interact with the door if you're facing the right way and you're holding down interact. So we'll see that a few more times. It's not nearly as broken later on, but yeah, it's a pretty cool trick. Out of bounds once again, just getting to the next level. This is the spooky water section, which I think most people would agree is the spookiest part of this game. Here's a really creepy water monster. Just gonna try to run away from him. There he is. Can't see him except for the splashes. He's a spooky boy. We're also gonna jump through the water because water slows us down and we don't want that. Hey, there's another spooky water monster. Give him a tasty arm. That'll distract him. All right, while he's munching on that arm, we're just gonna bypass him. Keep on moving. Quick escape. You can hear him coming after me, but we're just a little too fast. Hey, more water maze. So normally the water monster's going to chase you through here, and it's really tense because you have to choose left or right and you don't want to find a dead end, but we're just going to try to go up through the ceiling like that, and now we don't have to deal with any of it. Surprise, surprise. One really cool thing that allows most of this to happen is that unlike a lot of games that would have walls and these like posts on the side just be big rectangles, if you look at the like collision of everything, it's actually following the contours of the shape. It's like a proper model with wireframe and everything, so that's why we can boost off of a lot of these surfaces and get extreme heights or get boosted in weird ways. So this is the second area, the second hub area, which is like one overarching puzzle and a bunch of smaller puzzles within it. Anytime there's a hub like the back hall here, we can actually skip a lot of backtracking by doing load warping. So we're gonna just pop through this wall real quick. Easy as that. Get what we need from the study. Face the door that we came through. And then when we're loading, we're gonna hold down use. So for that one frame that we're at Player Start 1, we click on the door. Easy as that. This all works on the current patch of the game, but if you play it through Steam, these load warps are really inconsistent. So we actually play through a non-Steam version of the EXE that is luckily included with your Steam version. Just go into the files and boom, it's there. So this is Daniel's room. It's pretty nice. Allows us to get out of bounds really easily. Run and grab our key. We could walk around, but we'll just load warp out. Just like that. Trying to get some boost off of these stairs as we go down. It's pretty rare if it happens, but it's pretty cool. Now we're going into storage, which has a couple different routes, depending on how hard you want to make it. We already had some issues with getting boost, so we'll just take this one easily, hopefully, and see how things go. But we're going to pick up a lot of stuff in storage. We're going to get a full drill by getting 3 different parts, and we have to get 2 more rods for the machine room. Come in here, pick up the second drill part, and now run back. We're doing them in this order because normally you would spawn in a grunt or one of the monsters by picking up this drill over here, and then he would destroy a path for you so you can get to the 2 rods that you need. But if we come over here and pick this up last, when he's spawning in, we can just conveniently jump up here, boop, out of bounds once again. And so since we never have the lantern, a lot of these areas are really dark. And if you don't know where you're going and don't know where you're jumping, it can be very problematic. But luckily I've put a couple hours into this game, so just gonna hop around there. And right over here is where the 2 rods are, and you can do some really crazy strats to get over there a little faster and grab them from out of bounds, but it's really difficult. So we're gonna take this flashback. And flashbacks have some really interesting mechanics to them. So anytime you see that giant flash of white, that means we've either entered or exited a flashback. One thing it's gonna do is slow you down. So we're gonna try to avoid as many as we can. But the other cool properties about them, we don't need that. We're just gonna load warp out of here real quick. Is that grunts and monsters cannot like target you when you're in flashbacks. So earlier when I was talking and explaining how to do the entrance hall stuff, we just ran past that monster and he didn't care. It's because we were in a flashback, and we'll see that come into play once we get into the prison area. And so as far as the story is going, if you're curious about the lore, we haven't really gotten into why Daniel took the amnesia potion. We're gonna get into that in the next area. Basically, the whole reason we're in this manor, and you hear this other guy talking, is because Daniel, on a archaeologist expedition, discovered an orb. Fun word, right? He discovered an orb that has mystic properties, and it unleashed the shadow that is trying to hunt him down and kill him. And Alexander, the owner and the baron of this place, told Daniel, hey, I can help you with that. Guess what? He was just using us because he was the bad guy. Go ahead and put these in here, solving all these puzzles. Getting the elevator working again. As I said, well, in the next area, a lot of stuff comes together where you realize how bad of a guy Alexander really was. And we'll see what kind of things he made Daniel do that made him want to forget what happened. Well, we'll see parts of it as we run by. So bringing all this stuff with us. We need 3 lumps of coal. Put these bad boys right in there. Turn on the burner. And hopefully get lucky with these gears. Oh, okay. Last one, start the machine, and you guessed it, load warping out of this bad boy. You have to be careful with menuing, because if you're just doing it off muscle memory, you can accidentally hit something in the menu you're not supposed to, like start new game, which is always fun. You don't want to do that. So here's the elevator. What horror game wouldn't it be complete without a nice elevator ride? Oh, get a little bit of a break. These wonderful PlayStation 1 era graphics, real stylized. I think it looks pretty nice. We got a quick donation, Mr. Enigma.
Yeah, sure. And by the way, it does look great. We have a $25 donation from Captain Ashby. Says first time watching live and first time donating. Good luck to BloodThunder and all the other runners.
Yeah.
We got time for another.
If it's your first time watching a GDQ, you know, throw down a couple bucks if you can afford it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's a tough time for a lot of people, but it's going to a great cause. And, you got a free Twitch Prime sub, or Prime Gaming as it's called these days.
Yeah,
slap that down.
Whichever you prefer.
All right, so the prison, the really spooky area.
Come this way.
So this is where a lot of prisoners were kept. And as we kind of find out through notes and stuff, not all of them were actually prisoners. You know, he made Daniel kidnap some kids, all for these experiments, which we'll get to once we get to the nave. A really nice strat you can do here is using this rock. I swear this isn't just because I like rocks. During that flashback, if you pick up that, if you like hold that rock and move it with you, you just don't get slowed down. So we're gonna go up here and say hello to monster number 2. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? I'm gonna just strat him. Why not? We're gonna be safe and grab this. There is a possibility of skipping that flashback right there, but then you kind of have to deal with the monster, and he can one-shot you. So let me keep things a little safe today.
This is no place for a young girl all by herself.
We need the hammer and the chipper that we just got to open up this hole. Fun strat you can do is not hit use and just fall down the hole and it works the same. It's pretty cool. Another flashback ends, but don't worry, we'll get another one. If there's anything I like in a horror game, it's giant flashes of white in your face. Always wonderful.
Find Gabriel, the Outrider, and tell him to alert the King's men.
Prison North is pretty short for us. As you can probably guess, we're just going to push these rocks out of the way and then make our way out of bounds and then into the cistern here in a second. While we're doing all that, just shout out to Frictional Games for making these wonderful, wonderful games. I've got Amnesia Rebirth coming out hopefully this fall, in a couple months perhaps. It'd be awesome if we could get a release date for that. But yeah, they make wonderful games and really, really fun speedruns. The Penumbra series, the Amnesia, Soma, all great. So really looking forward to Rebirth, hopefully later this year. Our way through the prison. It's going to get a little brighter. Don't worry. If you're scared of the dark, cistern's a little brighter. There's a cool skip we can do, hopefully. Hey, we actually got it. That's a trick I only go for once. That gets over a flashback, but if you don't get it right away, it's really not worth it. That's cool. We're going to try to boost off this corner. This is actually the easier of the two tricks. We're going to try to boost straight up to the morgue. There we go. Normally you have to like lower the bridge and lower the water. We're just going to bypass that all and go to the morgue. Unfortunately, we can't skip the morgue because we need the antidote. This boost is a little annoying. There we go. So we have to come over here and deal with getting the antidote from this body before we can go into the sewer. But luckily, it's not too bad. Another thing I haven't really talked about yet is the damage system in this game. So sanity doesn't really matter for the run, but anytime you take damage, usually fall damage, your speed is slowed down. So a lot of the run comes down to minimizing the amount of flashbacks and minimizing the fall damage where you can. And these laudanums that I'm picking up along the way will, nice, good soft lock. Restore health if you happen to take it. So later on, when we do have to take force damage, that's when we have the laudanum to get us back up. It's a very rare soft lock where you can't interact with that body. Ooh. Little rope swinging around there. Yeah, jumping into the door like that on a fall will help you avoid damage for the most part. Try this again. You may also note that when we're going out of bounds and walking on spots we're not supposed to, a lot of the times it's very, very narrow floors. So if you're not careful, you can really just end up walking straight into the void. So that gives us the serum. And to get past the flashback here that we skipped on the way in, we're just going to load past it. I need to be careful not to move when I get back here, so I can do a little setup. Right there. And hopefully Cistern 2 is nice to us. Hey, that was really, really quick. This is a very strange run. Easy stuff's hard, and hard stuff is first try. So, into the sewers. Another very spooky place. Grab the ladder at the bottom so we don't take fall damage. And here comes the spooky monster, but don't worry, he's gonna get snapped by Thanos. Oh no, there he goes. Can you believe this game's in the MCU? It's crazy. So we're boosting off these little pipes, not pipes, but these beams. And we're gonna do a save quit here. But we're not gonna load warp, we're just doing a safety save because it's very likely we can go to the void here. We don't want that. Try to pop through the wall. There we go. Whoop. Okay. Step one. That's a lot of height. Yeah, there's fall damage. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and take one of these laudanums now, and you'll see the redness go away. That's damage being taken off of us. It's not a bad sewer overall. Let's get past all this. And you have to be really careful with jumping on any of these like slope surfaces. Because as I've mentioned, it can just throw you off into the void. So you kind of want to stay in the middle where it's flat instead of on the sides. A little boost off of that. And then to climb ladders fast, you can just basically jump and keep hitting use. You can bind this to the mouse wheel to make it even faster, but you get a little reckless if you do it that way. So we're into the nave, the last hub. It's a really big hub. And this is where people from the prison would be taken to be tortured, because that's the kind of guy Alexander is. We're gonna try to line this up so we don't take fall damage. I need a laudanum. Hopefully if I set this up right, we hit the wall, we didn't. All right, that's fine. Gotta do some crazy jumps. It's not that bad. Yeah, this is where prisoners would be tortured because Alexander needs their life essence to open up a portal and return to a dimension, which is basically where the orb is in the shadow. So we're actually gonna go grab all of the pieces of the orb and put them back together. There's 3 in the choir, which is where we're going right now, and there's 3 in the transept, which we'll go to later. All connected to the nave. So once we're done in the choir and the transept, we can do load orbs back, which is pretty cool. A nice thing you get to see if you boost up your gamma is this pipe running through here. A lot of people don't notice it casually, but it actually points you to the locations of the orbs. So you can just wander around here and be lost, or you can just follow the pipes. And get some boost off of these little feet. I don't know what to call these. Yeah, one piece of the orb is always stuck with some sort of torture device. It's a really dark game. I'm so scared. All right, here's the orb piece. Instead of running through here like we would normally in a room, we're actually going to load warp out and then go back in, because this is going to be faster. There's a really, really crazy boost you can do across a gap here, which I think this is called gap boost. It is not worth going for because it's like a one and done trick. So we're just going to boost up here off this pillar, get on this pipe, and take it to our next orb piece. So if you got another donation, Mr. Digma.
Absolutely. We have a $25 donation from Gas Dog, who says, much love from the Cabbage Patch. Good luck and have fun, BT.
Yo, thank you, Gas Dog. You can do one more.
We have a $10 donation from Purin152, says, I loved being in the late night hype crowds and past GDQs. So even though we're remote this time, BloodThunder, we're still sending you hype from home. And for all my fellow Day 9 viewers in the chat, don't forget the rope.
Nice. So there we just got our second orb piece with the bronze bowl. It's a very cruel torture device. We're gonna get across this gap. We're also being very careful not to hit triggers that would spawn in monsters because we just don't want to deal with them. And the reason we're going out of bounds for this third one is that there is a flashback here. So if we can avoid it, that'd be awesome. Sometimes the game likes to clip you back into the map here, in which case we just go and run through normally, but hey, we got up. Very tricky part. We're gonna do a safety save because it likes to throw you off the map. Load back in. A really nice way you can save and quit in this instead of using the menu is just hitting Alt F4, which normally you would think would close the program, but in this it just saves and quits, so it makes menuing really, really easy. Hey, here's our third orb piece, and now if we look the right way, save, load, bam, we gotta leave the choir. But it's not all. We gotta leave the entrance to the choir as well, because this happens to warp us back. Cool, so now we're back in the nave, and unfortunately for us, when you skip nave 1 the way we did, you never open certain doors that would allow you to freely walk through the nave. So we have to do all these out of bounds strats to get past them. So yeah, this door right here never gets opened. And that door right there to the transept never gets open. There's our good buddy, Agrippa. There's a possible ending you can do with him that is a little bit longer and is a different category. Hey, there, he's just chilling right there. We're just not going to do any of that. There's actually 4 different endings you can get in this game. We end up getting the good one, which is nice, which we'll talk about later. But there is one that requires waiting like 15 minutes in the prison that we get to go to here in just a little bit. That's a pretty crazy ending. it's nice having those options. So this is a transept. Jumped on the pipe to skip another flashback. Pick up our first orb piece over here. Just not going to look at any of the torture stuff. Keep on going. So we're going to do this in a weird way that you wouldn't expect. We're going to go straight across first and then to the right instead of just going around in a circle. And this is also just to get around some flashbacks and effectively use load warping. This is one of my favorite pickups to do for items because you can just pick it up through the wall. This thing. Don't actually have to be looking at the piece of orb. Pop through the wall. And yeah, this is a razor thin edge that we get to stand on right there. Like, the very tips of your toes are just hanging on. So we got to boost up here so we can drop down on the other side because the orb piece you can just barely reach from out of bounds over here. Avoid fall damage. All right, so now that we have all 6, we can get out of here. Go back to the nave, do a pretty cool trick. We pass that door that's locked that I mentioned, and we're gonna head to the chancel. Let's again line this up. So Nave 2 and Nave 3 are areas that really benefit from having this PlayStation style graphic setting because you can use those pixels, just line it up so perfectly. These doors. The chancel is kind of interesting in the fact that it's like 2 different maps. You have one version that's collecting all 6 orb pieces and one post. If you come to the chancel before having all 6, then you don't trigger these grunts that will auto kill you. And you also can't get to the end, which is obviously where we need to go. So you have to go get all 6 of them and then come here. There's no way to possibly skip past it because it's just a different version of the map. Now we're gonna go to the cells, this is if you wait 15-20 minutes or so, the shadow that we mentioned before from the orb will come and kill you. And that's how you end the game. But we don't have 15 to 20 minutes. We got to keep GDQ on schedule. So we're going to escape this place in a really cool manner, I might add. We're going to do a crouch jump up to this bar, break it. Instead of using water to get this key out of the pipe, we can just push this rod over with a chair and hey, a rusty key. So a lot of times you actually use a lot of them here to get some of your speed back, but because we had some issues with other areas, I'm going to save the 2 I have for later on. And right now the shadow's chasing us. It's very angry, it's very loud. Right here, it doesn't matter which way you choose. The way you choose initially will always be blocked by falling rocks. So you can go left, it just doesn't matter. And then this is the hardest part of the run. Trying to keep your feet dry. Try not to dip your feet in the Kool-Aid. It looks delicious, but it's slow. Get around the corner. Oh, one more. Oh, almost. Hardest part of the game. 100%. Also, yeah, the shadow's nowhere near us. He's not a problem. So after escaping there, we're back in the nave. We're at the top, which is where we came up from the sewers. So all we have to do is make our way back down into the chancel and then over to the orb chamber. So to kind of finish up the lore as we head to the end. Yeah, Alexander tricked Daniel to come to the manor and to torture and kidnap all these people so that he could take their life essence to open up the other dimension so he could escape. And then Daniel, realizing that he got bamboozled and was a very bad person, wanted to make himself forget, so he drank the amnesia potion and left himself notes about what happened so that he could effectively stop the plans and guide himself back through the manor. So this time when we come to the chancel, there's not any spooky grunts. We can just make our way straight to the end. Do a little boost off of this. It's also all this goop, this raspberry jelly, is supposed to be an indication that the shadow is near, and that its presence is growing stronger. Something I didn't realize for the longest time. I thought it was just kind of a thing that happened. So if you didn't think this game was already broken enough, hey, you can just walk through that wall like it's nothing. Boost up here. This is kind of a tricky jump. Ooh, fall damage. With the time it just right because you're jumping off of a sloped surface. There we go. One more kind of tricky jump to the end. Take some more fall damage. And this is why we have all the laudanums. So right when we get into the inner sanctum, we're going to take both of them. And that's going to allow us to get our speed mostly back. And we need to clip through a wall, but this one's a little tougher. So you have to be running really fast to get through it. And that just prevents the shadow from chasing us. Because if we don't get this quickly, and that door is open, he will kill us. So let's see. Boom, easy as that. This last area, the Orb Chamber, this is where Alexander is. This is where you can get one of 3 different endings, depending on what you do. You can either let him escape, which takes like 40 seconds longer. You could deal with Agrippa and bring his head in here. Or you can just knock over these pylons. Very simple. Very easy boss fight. Just gotta put your back into it. And that's time. Oh, that's Alexander, by the way. This is a pretty cool area, too. So essentially, the ending that we're getting here is we foil his plan, and we let the shadow take him. And the shadow's like, hey, you redeemed yourself. You're pretty cool. You're free to leave. So now we're just gonna make our way back out, and we can feel good about ourselves. But even in the outro, there's still some cool stuff you can do. This is actually just one big map, as we'll see here in a bit. It's not re-going through the separate areas. So we get into the next part, we'll see that. We're gonna walk back a little bit. We gotta go real quick. Do some void, walk through this wall. And yeah, you can see the different areas that we're traversing right there. There's the Orb Chamber. It's all a big map. And the reason this isn't timed is because it's just an outro. Nothing you do here matters. It doesn't affect anything. So the last effective input is knocking over the pylon. But yeah, shout outs to all the other Frictional Games runners. If you guys are looking to get into this run, there's an amazing tutorial on this category that was made just a couple months ago by Skyrion. There's also one by ATTD Proof, which is a little bit older but covers some other strats. You can also just go into the Discord, which you can find through speedrun.com. A lot of cool people. They will help you out for sure. Yeah, it's a really awesome game. If you need help finding those things, just contact me and I can point you in the right direction. But thank you, GDQ, for letting me show this off. Shout outs to Frictional Games once again for making such an amazing title. Shout outs to everyone watching and donating, already over 100,000, which is awesome. I do have another run, Bioshock Infinite, in about 2 days. So if you like my commentary, you like Bioshock Infinite. But until then, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for staying up. And yeah, back to you, Enigma.
All right, well done, BloodThunder. Yes, as he said, he will be back with Bioshock Infinite later in the week. But a fantastic run of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. BloodThunder, a veteran of GDQ, showing us exactly why he is as well. Well done. Good stuff. This is Summer Games Done Quick 2020 online. Thank you for all your donations. Now, keeping with the haiku theme, we have Morgan LaFay with a $5 donation. Now, he said, Descent into Darkness, Amnesia with BloodThunder, Hold Me Please Uwu. Okay, that counts, I suppose. We'll count it this time. All right, we're going to go to an advertisement, and we'll be right back. All right, coming up next, we have Silhouette Mirage by Karaoke. Just want to remind you, we do have a bid war coming up for that to upgrade to the good ending. It has to be at $2,500 to be met for that. We are currently at $683. So make sure you get your donations in for that. That run is coming up next. So make sure if you want to see the good ending and upgrade that to the good ending to get your donations in for that right now. All right, we had a few donations come in for BloodThunder that we want to get to here while we're getting set up for the next run. We had a $10 donation from Thor Cat who said, "Go BloodThunder, have a perfect run." We have a $50 donation from Backspace who says, "Cheers for my favorite spooky game. Lots of love to the folks at GDQ." Now, here's the one. Remember our runner for one of the previous runs, Millennium Racer Fireman, a man of his word, $200, and said, "Here is the donation I promised and something extra for all the hard work of tech to keep that run going. Appreciate it. Cool." Unbelievable. Thank you, Fireman. Appreciate that. And we have a $10 donation from Dissidents 383 who says, "Good luck, BT. Ignore all the walls." All right, and I do believe we are ready for our next run. So coming up next is Silhouette Mirage by Karaoke.